In 1966, Jackie Stewart and Formula One champion Graham Hill strengthened the overseas invasion. The look of the Indianapolis 500 was changing. Hill and Stewart joined two-time winner Roger Ward for a super team focused on winning the Borg-Warner Trophy. Inexperience hurt the Europeans. Their Lola Fords qualified mid-pack.
There is more to this track racing that meets the eye. I understand there's quite a few things I've got to learn yet. I personally don't feel yet prepared for the race, and I think it'll be quite an interesting experience for me.
Well, I must say that I came over to Indianapolis with a certain amount of reserve because I had heard so much about it, and perhaps not the best publicity, but this has been completely reversed for me. I must say that of all the races I've ever competed in, I've perhaps had more goodwill and hospitality over here than I have anywhere else.
Jim Clark returned to defend his title with STP sponsorship. The Flying Scot reels off a 164 average. But he's no match for second-year sensation Mario Andretti. He crushes the old qualifying marks by nearly 4.5 miles an hour. The start of each 500 is one of the most anticipated moments in all of sports. 1966 would be one of the most dramatic.
I was nervous about doing the 500, and you suddenly have second thoughts of why are you bothering to cross the Atlantic for this demolition derby that they seem to constantly show on television.
And the Golden Anniversary 500-mile race is on! The number 1 turn and Mike Ahern.
And here they come to the number 1 turn, accelerating out of the pack and taking the lead. Well, it's either at...
We have an accident on the main stretch, Mike. Hold it. We have a terrible accident on the main stretch. A very bad accident on the main stretch before they reach the turn.
11 cars are eliminated. The race is stopped for over an hour. Amazingly, only A.J. Foyt is injured, and he cuts himself escaping the scene.
Collectively, I don't know really who is to blame. I don't think you'll be able to blame it on any one person, but they're all using very, very poor judgment. It's not very difficult to drive down a little straight piece of track here with a few cars around. There shouldn't be any trouble at all. We're supposed to be good drivers, and it's I don't think they have the judgment of a flea for all I'm concerned.
On the restart, Andretti takes the point, but Lady Luck ends his day on lap 27 with a broken valve. The race takes on a foreign flavor as Clark leads. Hill and Stewart are patiently working their way up the pylon.
We have just seen some of the greatest driving in our history with this speedway. Jimmy Clark lost it up here completely, turned around 2 or 3 times, got into the grass on the infield, finally righted himself, and continued on down your way, Sid. It was utterly fantastic.
Clark avoids contact and keeps going, but concedes the lead, stopping for fresh tires. Lloyd Ruby's Eagle chassis is now in front. Clark catches up, and the two swap the lead throughout the race. Then on lap 87, Clark spins again. The Scot saves his Lotus, but loses the lead for a second time. Ruby gladly accepts first place and begins to pull away. But with 50 to go, Ruby has an oil leak and is black flagged. Yet another tough break for the Texan. Rookie Jackie Stewart inherits the lead. Clark and Hill are right behind.
I had been lying in second place at one time, I remember that well. And then I found myself in the lead very easily. And without, I mean, quite amazed that I was in the lead. I didn't feel I had earned it. I mean, I took it. But I was so far ahead that it was a very comfortable lead.
10 laps remain, and the British are dominating at Indianapolis.
Well, we've lost Jackie Stewart. Everyone's standing here, and they can't find Stewart. And there's no yellow flag out. I wonder if the car stopped anywhere. Can anybody around the track see it?
Jackie Stewart apparently is out. He's going, the engine is cut clear off. He came by number 3. It is over in number 4 right now, coming to a stop.
To the delight of the crowd, Stewart pushes his car back to the pits.
I wanted to push the car back, and I pushed it back a fair way because I thought that way I'd complete another lap. We would think like that in Europe. And this has seemed to attract the attention of the public in a fairly dramatic fashion because they thought this was an enormous act of bravery for some reason, which it not at all was.
Graham Hill becomes the first rookie to win at Indy in nearly 40 years. Jim Clark takes second.
I've sort of broken the rookie name now, but naturally I'm very pleased. I think I had a very uneventful run. I had a little bit of oversteer, and it was a little bit weavy on the braking, which stopped me from overtaking people when I wanted to. But apart from that, the car ran beautifully.
I suppose it wasn't until about the next morning that I thought, Jesus, I should have won this race. What a lovely thing that would have been to win it your first time there, to have had such an advantage, and then, you know, mechanical things to leave it. But the team won. Graham won, and the same team, which was pretty remarkable. And we were running first, second and third, the Brits, at that stage, which must have been awful for the Americans.
Despite his disappointment, Jackie Stewart finished 6th and was named Rookie of the Year.